We think that the government is killing business. We think that economy. We talk about a lot of issues which are external taxes, etc. But the biggest enemy of the business sector is us. Internally, we are the ones who are destroying the business. Is it wise for someone to own shares in his personal capacity, or it's rather intelligent and wise to put shares in a trust? And I would like to invite you, engage my team. Let's us meet on the 27th. I'll be demystifying why African businesses die young. In few hours, it might change your business. It may be changing your way of thinking. Greetings Africa, greetings Zimbabwe, greetings Zambia. My name is Jeremy Zungu, aka the Chartered Vendor, and we are on our favorite podcast, which is called the Chartered Vendor Podcast. We talk about everything entrepreneurship and business and sales. And today I'm super excited because it's exactly 1 week before our seminar called Why African Businesses Die Young. So this seminar is coming from this book. So we're meeting with business owners. Entrepreneurs must come. Managers must also come. And those who want to start businesses such that we warn them and they experience firsthand from the people who are already running businesses. And this is vital. This is important. Unlike me, to learn most of the lessons through mistakes. To learn most of the lessons whilst I'd already lost something. But I'm saying to you, come if you are new. Young people, we also invite you. It's not only for the old, it's not only for those who have businesses already, but we are saying those who are aspiring to be entrepreneurs can also come and join this seminar on the 27th of November at Mana Results. So, why should people come to this seminar, and what are we going to discuss in this seminar? This book, when I was writing this book, it was a thorough research which I had done because I gave myself time. I think it's almost 11 years dealing with businesses on everyday basis. We talk with businesses. We deal with businesses in terms of entrepreneurship, in terms I've registered businesses from scratch. Some of the companies are now multi-million-dollar companies, which I've registered in 2015, 2016. I've done taxes for companies. I've worked with companies on strategy. I've worked in companies in terms of software, aligning systems, etc. And I've combined a book with 37 mistakes, which I've noticed that this is what is hating the African businesses. To the contrary, we think that the government is killing business. We think that economy. We talk about a lot of issues which are external taxes, etc. But the biggest enemy of the business sector is us. Internally, we are the ones who are destroying the business. So I'll share with you some of the topics which we are going to cover. So we're going to cover the mistakes which people do when they're setting up a business. And people make a lot of mistakes when they're setting up businesses. So we've got businesses which are now very big. They're now employing hundreds and hundreds of people, some thousands of people, but they made mistakes whilst they were registering. And those mistakes sometimes, if not corrected, will end up killing businesses. I'll give you an example of what happened to one of my clients. This client had registered a company, I think 7 years prior to when I engaged him. So he called me and said, Jerry, I will now want to resign a director. So I said, give me your paperwork. Then when he gave me his paperwork, I said, because when I asked him, are you a shareholder? And he said he's a shareholder together with his brother. But when I checked his papers, to the contrary, there were other names on shareholding. And they had only changed what's called a CR14 in Zimbabwe, which it's a document which shows directors and company secretary for the business. So I asked again, did you transfer these shares from the original owner? Then he said no. Then I said, how did you buy this company? Then he said it was a share of company. Then I said, oh no, this is a problem. Then I told him that as it stands currently, you don't own that business. You're just shareholders, you're just directors, which means you're just senior employees for that company. The guy was so angry and he said, no way, Jerry, I'm the owner of this company. Then I said, you are not the owner of this company. You need to sober up. What we need to do. So he said, what can we do? Then I said, we need to call these guys. Fortunately enough, these consultants were still there and they agreed to transfer shares back to the owners. But this business is at 32 trucks. So imagine what was going to happen if these guys were greedy, the consultants, and they said they are the ones who own the company. So we need to look at those kind of issues. These are the issues which are going to be talking about. Before you buy even a share of company, do due diligence. Do they have creditors? etc. Some of the mistakes which happen when people are setting up, you go to set up a company, you end up putting a relative just because probably they've said they want 2 people on the business. You end up putting your wife as a director. It has got a lot of consequences as well, because you end up if you it's good time, it's good to have your wife on the business, but it's also bad time. Your wife is going to pay for your sins as well. So these are other issues which are also saying, is it wise for someone to own shares in his personal capacity, or it's rather intelligent and wise to put shares in a trust? That is also bring us to the issue of saying, what's a family trust? Why should everyone register a family trust? Is it for the rich? Is it for the poor? Is it for the married? Is it for the unmarried? Does a trust also replace a will? All these things. Why is it an advantage to set up a trust whilst you're starting up your businesses? Have you ever thought about it? Why is it wrong to have your wife as a director in your company? Why is it wrong for you to have shares in your name? And why is it wrong to start a company in a partnership without a shareholders agreement? If you want to know about these answers, I'm hosting a seminar on the 27th of November at Mana Resort. We'll be having company owners, entrepreneurs, and senior managers to demystify why African businesses die young. You don't have to miss this. It's a must attend. 27 November at Mana Resort. See you there.
In Africa, many businesses do start with friends and family. The energy is high, the handshakes are strong, but when the money comes in, so do disagreements. Who owns shares? Who makes decisions? And what happens if one wants out? Without a shareholders agreement, these questions can even break a best idea. A shareholders agreement is like a safety net. It clearly spells out ownership, responsibilities, profit sharing, and also conflict resolution. It protects friendship, family, and also business itself. Because when expectations are clear, trust remains strong, the company will grow without unnecessary fights. Don't wait for problems to knock on your boardrooms. A shareholders agreement is not a luxury, but it's a foundation that every entrepreneur needs. M&J, building timeless businesses.
We also talk about issues to do with shareholders agreements. Before you get into a partnership with someone, have a shareholders agreement. It will help you. It will tell you how you're going to disband the organization when you get into problems, how you are also going to distribute your finances, and a lot of other issues which are there in business. So setting up the foundation, because if the foundation is weak, definitely whatever you're going to build on the top is going to be weak. The issue of saying when you start up with entrepreneurs are scared when they're getting into business, 100% ownership seems as if it's a burden. But if you look at it, that's why even I made that mistake myself, and I've written about it in the book to say I gave some of the people shares in my business as I was starting, and I thought that I was buying loyalty. I thought that it was the only way for the people to share vision, but to the contrary, it backfired big time. I had to pay money to these guys, I had to pay them vehicles, in order for them, for me to get back my shares. So I don't encourage people to also give shares, just giving shares without merit, without studying the people they are getting shares with. Oh, we're going to talk about all these people. When someone wants to have equity in your company, what does it mean when this person now has 51% and you've got 49%? I think you've noticed that the big companies which went under because they'd gotten into problems because of partnerships, equity buying. We're going to talk about that foundation, and we align topics on the foundation. But we're not going to stop there. We're going to talk about strategy, the importance of having a strategy, the importance of innovation, the importance of technology in business, the importance of AI in these small businesses. Most of the small businesses, they see big businesses going for strategy. Big businesses like Nyaradzo, Ridan, they are going for their end of year strategic planning. They are already planning for 2026. And as small businesses, we say, no, strategy is not for big businesses. But big businesses didn't start to do strategy when they're big, but they're big because they were strategizing. So these are the notes which are going to be sharing to say the importance of how do you build a strategy for the business? What should you do for you to have a strategy for the business? It's not luxury for businesses to go into Kariba, to go out in order for them to build sustainable businesses. So we'll cover that. We'll also cover what happens in departments, HR. Now you have a business, you have a strategy. Where are you going to get your human resources? Who do you need in your bus? Who do you need to put in your bus? Who do you need to engage and say, who is going to be my employee? As you're also starting up a business, there is a temptation of recruiting relatives. There's a temptation of recruiting, taking friends into business. All that, you're going to talk about the merits and the demerits. And we are going to talk about marketing. How can you build a brand? How can you separate yourself from your brand? In this digital era, whereby we now have digital marketing, we have social media marketing, how are we going to distinguish ourselves in the market? How are you going to build a business in the 21st century using the tools which are now available? We are now living in a century which is not difficult to build a brand. In yesteryears, you need an ad in newspaper. When I started my business, I still remember paying around $20 just for 4 lines in a newspaper. But now with $20, I can build a lot of audience on my Facebook page. So this is some of the things which are going to be sharing. Marketing. What's the difference between marketing and sales? How to structure your sales department, how to structure your marketing department. Disadvantages of having an internal marketing department. Why you should even outsource probably your marketing department. All those things. Finances. Most of the entrepreneurs there, they can't separate their finances, their business finances from their company finances. All that, we are going to talk about that on why African businesses die young. And I'll make a presentation and I'll allow question and answers in the discussion, because we'll be having the captains of the industry. We are going to demystify why African businesses are dying young. So this is 11-year research, practical examples, and I think after that, it's up to you to make mistakes. It's a foundation which you're going to have. You're going to know that probably you are in the right direction or you need to improve in your businesses. I'm going to touch on the issue of saying, if you depend solely on one customer, if you depend solely on one employee, if you depend solely on one supplier. I have a company which was having its revenue, 90% was coming from government. I tried to say, this guy, you're making a mistake. Don't depend on government alone. Try to get into private sector. Try to get into the NGOs. He refused, but he just woke up. The company is blacklisted, and that was the end of him. So these are the real issues, matters, which we want to talk about on the day. So, please don't miss this one. It's critical, and I'd like to invite you, engage my team. Let's us meet on the 27th. I'll be demystifying why African business is dying. In few hours, it might change your business. It might be changing your way of thinking. Why should a business leader be also a reader? Because they've also said you cannot be a leader when you're not a reader. So we need you. Come in your numbers. Let us engage. Let the discussion continue. Why are African businesses dying young? Thank you so much. Until next time, it's Jerry Monyazungu out. Remember to subscribe and share and destroy the comment section. Thank you.